Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's Book Club. This is where you can see Dezaemon 2, which is basically a Saturn platform to play 200 games that you may not have seen in the West. What you see here is a script that runs on the MiSTer FPGA. You can hit return on an item like we've just done, and you see it flashing in the bottom. It says it's copied to a save file. Then you hit return on launch, and it will basically launch the Sega Saturn core with Dezaemon 2, the game. A bit more information is involved at the end of the video, so keep an eye on the end of this clip. But essentially, when this loads in, you then have to navigate your way around to run the save game. Think Mario, up, down, left, right, that kind of thing. Well, you know those controls, but the controls for this I show on the left-hand side of the screen. Thanks to my friend Shiffy for introducing me to this. You know, it's because of him, it's absolutely because of him that you can see all you're going to see. But all the information you need is available in this video. Just watch to the end and look at the readme file that comes with the torrent. First of all, you click on start and it brings you what you see behind. Make sure your MiSTer FPGA, the cartridge, is set to backup. I show that just as a pointer, just to remind you. And with start selected, you're going to move down to options. If you look on the left hand side of the screen, the way this works is every time we click on a button, it shows it there. So take a screenshot of what we've navigated, what we've done, so you can see your way around. We click on load here, which allows us to load a game, and effectively we're going to load a cartridge, which is what we copied in RAM using that script you saw at the beginning. Everything is available to you. You click on there, you then click on this box that turns blue, and that's the RAM save file that you've got. And you know, this is saying that we want to load this in. You click on all because you want to load all the components of the RAM file, and as I look at the buttons on the left hand side, they appear as we click them. We're then going to do OK as well. And then we're going to say yes to this. Sometimes we provide a translation on the bottom of the screen so you can see what's going on. But we've said yes to this, and then we say OK, and we're almost there. You do this for any game that you want to run. It may seem a little bit long-winded, but remember, this is a Japanese system, a Japanese way of playing games, and we're going to click on return here. That is just being made available thanks to Shiffy and what he's done. This takes us back to the user menu, and you click on effectively U at this point, which is going to run the game. We need to do a little bit of housekeeping now the game is booted in. We'll be playing some games after this, do not worry, but for the moment, pay close attention to this. So, first thing you need to be aware of, this is internetarchive.org. Go here, put what you see in the blue box, and then that will show you something very similar to this. Click on that, download the torrent, read the readme to its fullest extent. In your MiSTer FPGA, make sure in Dezaemon you've got launch.chd as the name of the file, because we use Zapparoo to do this. Zapparoo is installed through tools and scripts on the update all that you have here. Make sure that the Wizzo extensions are set to on, and the first time you run it, you'll get, do you want to run as a service? The second time you run it, you get a screen very similar to this. Now, if you want to look at games and you want to look at screens, you can go to this site here. There is also another site that you can go to, which is this one here. So you have everything you need. You've got absolutely everything you need to play this. So remember to have a look at the readme that is in that torrent file. You have everything you need to do what we've done here. The script file is the easiest way to manage your save files. As I say, there's full instructions in a text file, so you can read that to your extent. You can have a look at what that says in conjunction to this video. But the most important thing is to see what games we've got available. Let's play. And Shiffy, my friend, Shiffy, thank you. Thank you, sir, for bringing this to my attention. I absolutely appreciate you.
Would you like to play again?